I know they called him a child molester and stuff on the river. He's not. I could tell you that he is not. And I have 3 girls in my house. If I had seen anything like that, that would have been addressed. He disagreed with them, and look at where he's at. It is good to see that people like yourselves out there have taken this to heart and to look further and to actually learn the truth.
Is it tragic? Absolutely. It's so freaking tragic any way you look at it. Isaac died. You had people that were seriously injured that are going to, like you said, are going to have lifetime medical issues coming from this stuff. But the fact is that the outcome of this, it doesn't go hand in hand.
So I'm not saying these guys are karate experts or anything, but there are enough of them. They put him down on his ass. They darn near knocked him out. Then he's trying to get back up, and then they're pushing him back down. In his mind, he's thinking, holy shit, if I don't act now, no one is going to act on my behalf. They're going to drown me. A lot of things can happen right now. My head hurts. I'm dizzy, whatever, So he did what many men would have done, or women, or anybody in that you have to fight for your life. At that point, you don't have a choice.
They kept saying is that he had an opportunity to leave. He had an opportunity to leave. He was walking away, and what did they do? They walked after him. You can see it in the video. You can see that the tubes and everything, they're walking towards him. They kept chasing him. And it was like, for the love of God, no, he didn't have a way to go. Every time he tried to go somewhere, they were right there in his face, behind him, yelling and screaming.
He was trying to say that when he said he was looking for a cell phone, the boys either found the phone or they used one of their own phones to hold it up and say, are you looking for this? And that's why he came running towards the kids, thinking, oh, they found my phone. They found what I was looking for, and I'm going to get it back. And Nick wasn't street smart enough to realize, I think this is going to be a setup, and just simply try to get out of there as fast as he could. He just assumed, oh, kids, I think I could reason with them. I can talk to anyone. I'm a very friendly individual. I don't know. You have certain breadcrumbs that you have to pick up on. And Nick I think that day he failed to detect trouble when trouble was right there in front of him. But for them to initially say, well, who would bring a knife on a float when you're floating down the river, well, a lot of people do.
Nick's attorneys, I think that Aaron and Corey are still like, where do we go from here? Do we have the opportunity to appeal? Some lawyers say no, you don't get an opportunity on a self-defense case to appeal that verdict. And I thought he did a really good job on explaining when he was on the stand.
In his own way.
In his own way, the best that he could in English, because it's true. If anybody has done any studying for trauma and doing all this stuff, when he explained that was like time was no longer real, you were on a different plane. I'm thinking, oh, Nick, you explained it exactly. If any survivor of any kind of traumatic experience, that was the best explanation I could have ever explained. Because I think if you ever go back and look at the video, when he said, well, they took the snorkel gear from his kit. It looks like it was accidentally kicked from him as they were like getting off the tubes, that it was like knocked out of his mouth. It's like, so in his mind, his thinking, he's just holding on to it as he's trying to brace himself. It gets lost and now he's looking for it. Their perceptions of everything that happened is so warped because they haven't been able to process the crazy that they all just experienced, because they all experienced crazy that day on the river. Me, they wanted to put him on for a character witness. The judge wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
So every time that they kept doing these little sidebars, they wanted more character witnesses. And the judge kept saying, no, he's got enough character. We've seen enough of his friends. Well, no, we haven't seen enough because we haven't heard about Nick's life previous to the United States. Everybody now knows that he came from Romania.
Our local sheriff, Isanti sheriff, thought from what he had gathered and what he had heard that our lives were in jeopardy. They put out there that they wanted to kill our family. They wanted to kill our kids in school. They wanted to destroy us. They wanted to burn down our house. So their sheriff, wanted to make sure that we're okay. He had ordered extra patrols on our street. And for a little while, he put the deputy out there who was parked at the end of our driveway, watching our house and watching who was coming, who was going and stuff. I couldn't sleep for the first 3-4 months. We lived in fear. Patty and I and my kids didn't want to go to school. Eventually they ended up having to go to school. The what ifs, is this over? Are they happy? Are they happy with their outcome? Are they going to leave us alone, or what do they want? I mean, how much further is this going to carry on? Nick is scared to death too. Nick helped a bunch of kids in jail get their GEDs. Why? Well, Nick helped them through math, and they passed. I think one kid passed with 98%. He's teaching kids and others how to play chess. Nick is a chess player. I'm a chess player. He played against a whole entire pot of men in there and won. But Nick is teaching him, and I know he is struggling. I know he's struggling every day. I talk to him, but I don't know. And if he thinks anywhere close to what I'm thinking right now, he's scared to even being there. Sandy hasn't really said a whole lot. I know that she said she really still loves him. She said that publicly, but she also went through her thing too. They did the same thing to her at her house, in the neighborhood where she lived. She was not safe either for that initial time. Another thing too, I'd like to add that I know kind of goes back to immediately after the incident. She woke me up in the middle of the night, and the moment she started talking about Nick, she started crying. Of course, she gives me the bad news. The initial news that came out through the media is that Nick had lost his mind. He came out of the woods, totally camel, and started stabbing people left and right, killing people. So, of course, I didn't know what to believe. I mean, my brother all of a sudden became Rambo. What snapped? Mm-hmm. So I'm at a loss for words. I'm emotionally distraught. I'm crying. I thought for sure I was going to have a heart attack because I was getting chest pains. And it was a few hours or a couple of 3 days later, everything exploded. The media exploded. All the chitter chatter on the internet exploded with all these made up stories. But yeah, Nick was a good brother, good friend. Awesome to come over and do stuff with him. He always had something on the grill. He helped his neighbors a lot. He was always up on top of a roof of somebody's neighbor, cleaning and even after surgery, he had that cut from belly button to, he could not stand still. He wanted to go help people. So I had a lot of pictures of him up on top of roofs, cleaning gutters. Nick was a busybody, very, very liked at work. Friends with everybody, easy to get along with. We're brothers, we're twins, but he was totally opposite of me. I didn't like going out because I've worked with people for so many years. I've had enough. And I was kind of street smart. Nick was not, for obvious reasons. We know now he was never trained in that. And I feel bad because Nick came with absolutely nothing other than brains, and willingness to talk to people and be approachable, and too gullible in many ways, because he never put up a guard. Once we left Romania, years passed, Nick had a lot of friends. He was surrounded by friends. He liked to have a good time like everybody else, boating, fishing, hunting. You don't take shortcuts when you buy something, you get what you pay for. So Nick had good stuff up until 2 years ago. And now he doesn't have any good stuff. Everything he ever had is gone. For financial reasons, his wife divorced him. They sold a really nice house. And the money they got from there, I think most of it went to his attorneys. Because you could always make up for what you lose financially or things, you make up for it, but your freedom, that's a totally different kind of game. And he's not used to this. Obviously, he's lost a lot of weight. And after every surgery, you're on the thinners, you're on all these other cholesterol medication. He never got any of it. He never got treated for the wound behind his back that he got when he fell backwards in the river. He complained about nightmares and other ailments. Nothing. And of course, he's reliving this from what we lived through almost, 16 years of our life in socialist Romania. It's all coming back tenfold for him. You'll probably eat him alive.
I am so thankful that Mihai reached out to me, and him and his wife sat down and spoke with me and my husband and answered all of our questions to the best of their ability. Parts that you guys necessarily didn't see was they still seemed pretty stunned too. They were still trying to make sense of everything that happened in the trial, like how it came to that conclusion and not really knowing what is next. They seemed very genuine when I spoke with both of them. And in all honesty, the history of the way that they grew up in Romania until they were 16 when they moved over here makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense why Nicolae might have reacted in the way that he did. I don't know any of these people personally, and they don't know me personally. So this is just an outside perspective looking in. And again, it is sad. It's sad for everybody involved. There are no winners in this situation, no matter what. Everybody's lives are forever changed.